Hi everyone, and welcome to my next project. This is going to be Hobby Boss's 1/35th scale German Panzer I Ausf A. And for those of you who follow my work, you'll know that I've built this one already. However, this time around, I've decided to do it in the colours of the Spanish Civil War. And the reason being is that if it wasn't for the Spanish Civil War, I would not be alive today. Tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But we're going to have a bit of fun and games with the paintwork. So I'm going for the three-tone camo scheme. We've also got some Friul Tracks and some photo etch in there as well. So the reason I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the Spanish War is because of this guy here. This is my granddad, James Jones. He joined up in the Navy in 1931 and served all the way through to 1945 at the end of the Second World War. However, in his early days, he was on HMS Repulse, and HMS Repulse, as you can see here, that was sent down to the Mediterranean during the Spanish Civil War in 1936, and their job was to pop into Gibraltar and pick up refugees that were caught up in the Civil War. And my grandfather came across two daughters of Scottish missionaries and fell in love with one of them. And as you can see here, that was my grandmother. So again, as I said before, if it wasn't for the Spanish Civil War, my grandfather wouldn't have met my grandmother and I wouldn't be here today. Anyway, that's enough of my waffle. Let's move on and have a look at the kit. Now, we got quite a lot in the box because this is two kits. So I've got the leftovers from the time that I built it before, and then I actually bought the kit again and ransacked it for the internals, which I used on the Bison build. So I'm going to have a look through, see how much of the kit I've got left, and see what we can put together for this particular build. It's a very nice kit. I've had no issues with it. It's a bit of a favourite of mine. The instruction is very good, very straightforward. As you see here, that was the one that I did before, and this time we're going to be doing the Spanish Civil War one. Now, it comes in with some nice decals, but obviously everyone's used those decals, so I've bought the Bison ones. There's a good chance I'm not going to use these. I'll probably do most of the decal work by painting it on myself, but we'll see how that all goes. I've decided to swap out the machine guns for these beautiful ones from Arbor. Now, the kit does come with some PE, but again, I've decided to swap that out, and I'm using the one from Voyager, which is the set for the Dragon model, but hopefully I'll be able to use a fair bit of this one. Now, as for the tracks, they were okay. Didn't stick together too well, but after a fashion, I managed to get them all around. So this time, what I've decided to do is go back to using Friul. Now, good old Brexit means that things cost an absolute fortune to get sent over from Europe. So I decided to do a bulk buy of Friul Tracks, and this will also give you an idea of some of my future builds that are going to be coming up as well. I think it was about nine sets altogether. Beautifully packaged, superb service as always from Friul. Very pleased. And this here is the ones that we're going to be using for this particular build. So let's open the box and have a look, see what we have. Now, I remember rightly when I did this for another one of my builds, these are quite, not so much fragile, but they do bend quite easily when cleaning up. So you do have to be a little bit careful. I've started, obviously, cleaning these up already. I try to do about 10 links a day. And we're moving on quite nicely with them. And all go together very well. Now, this is the three-tone scheme that I talked about. It does have a lovely German name. Let's see if I can remember. It's Farbenstrip, I think. Apologies to my German friends if that's incorrect. But looking forward to tackling that, and that will be the main part of the build. Now, these are the instructions showing you all the bits that I do have and all the bits that I don't have. So as you can see, all of the gearbox, all of the front seats, etc., that's all gone. That was used on other builds. So this is all that has been left. So what it's going to mean is that all of the doors and the windows are going to be shut on the turret, etc. When I put the kit together, it went together fairly well. There was a couple of little holes that needed filling, as you can see, but nothing major. Um, and just using the sanding stick, that was all cleaned back. I use Humble filler, and the two sides put on now as well. You can see that we just have the engine bay at the back, which I do have the parts for, so I am going to have a go at doing the engine on this particular one. Now, tyres. I'm a great fan of doing work on the actual wheels and the lower hull and the tyres. As you can see here, there's quite a few that need doing, so you have to be careful. Make sure you separate them out. Now you have these lovely little rims. Now with the Dragon kit, that comes as photo etch, but in this kit, it actually comes as plastic. They do go together really nicely and do still create that nice little rim. As you can see from these photos, they did get a lot of tyre wear, Panzers, and it's a nice little feature if you can add it into your build as well. So we'll just have a quick look at how I actually do that on my tyres. So first of all, they're sanded back quite nicely with a coarse sanding stick, and then I'll get the end of some sharp tweezers, and what we want to do is to start gouging out some patterned lines. And what we're trying to do here is to sort of chisel away little chunks of tyre to create that look that we saw in those reference photos. So once that's done, go all the way around, taking off all of the excess as you can with your thumbnails. And then this time we're going to go back round and we're just going to use one part of the tweezer. And what you'll find is as you start gouging out, little chunks of plastic will flick off. And that creates that sort of lovely worn out look. Again, do it very slowly because you don't want the tweezers pinging off and spearing your fingers. And again, just clean off with the thumbnails. And as you can see, we're starting to get some lovely damage now with this process. Now, where it looks a little bit man-made, so to speak, then just go back in again with the tweezers until you're happy with the final look. Now, I only probably do this on one, maybe two of the tyres. I don't tend to do it on all of them, unless I'm doing a piece that's maybe 2 or 3 years old. So at this stage, I'm happy with that, and we'll just sand the actual tyres now to round off those wheels so they don't look all square and they do actually have that worn effect. And here I'm using a coarse sanding stick. Now, as far as the sprocket wheels go, there are some nasty injector marks, so those do need filling and cleaning up. Now, you can actually do this so that the sprockets actually do rotate, but I find it a lot easier just to glue everything together and put it all in place. And there we have a nice set of wheels. I paint my wheels off the model, so that's the last you'll see of those until they're painted. As you can see, with the lower part of the hull, we have the bogies as well as the tracks to put together as we go along. So that's off and running. I'll leave you some reference photos that I've been using for this particular build. In the next part of the build, we'll look at doing the engine and painting and weathering that up and some other bits and bobs as well. So it just leaves me to say thank you very much indeed for popping in and having a look at my latest build and for your continued support and all of your comments. In the meantime, happy modelling.